1942 Ford Tudor Super Deluxe, a family heirloom and wartime rarity. In the world of classic American cars, few vehicles capture the imagination quite like those produced during the early 1940s, a time when automakers were caught between innovation and wartime restrictions. Among the rarest and most coveted models from that era stands a 1942 Ford Tudor Super Deluxe, and now a beautifully family-owned, factory-restored example is available in Grand Forks, North Dakota, for $24,900. With just 60,000 miles, a clean title, and a rich family history, this car is not just a collectible. It's a preserved piece of American history. A snapshot in time. The 1942 Ford lineup. The 1942 Ford models were introduced in October 1941, mere weeks before the United States entered World War II. Production was abruptly halted in February 1942 as factories transitioned to military manufacturing, making 1942 vehicles among the rarest pre-war American cars ever built. Ford produced just over 160,000 units that year across all body styles, compared to nearly 700,000 the year before. As a result, surviving 1942 Fords are highly sought after by collectors, especially those in original or authentically restored condition. A true Super Deluxe. This example is the Tudor Super Deluxe sedan, the top trim level for Ford that year. The Super Deluxe series featured more ornate detailing, upgraded interiors, and additional chrome compared to the base and deluxe models. Notably, the 1942 cars receive a unique grille design, more horizontal in nature, as well as new fender contours and a more modernized front fascia, elements that were only briefly in production before the war paused civilian auto manufacturing. Finished in a classic deep blue exterior with a tan interior, this car proudly reflects its original factory configuration. The manual transmission paired with a flathead V8, though not explicitly stated in the ad, this was the typical powertrain for the model, delivers an authentic driving experience that harks back to an era when driving was as much an experience as a necessity. A family legacy on wheels. What sets this 1942 Ford apart from many listings is its deeply personal history. The seller states that the car was purchased new by the grandfather, making this a single family-owned vehicle for over 80 years. Passed down through generations and eventually inherited by the grandson. The car has been recently restored to factory original specifications, preserving its authenticity and honoring its legacy. This kind of provenance is rare and invaluable in the classic car world. It means not only has the vehicle likely been treated with consistent care, but there's a known history, something many vintage car buyers deeply appreciate. Restored to original, ready to drive. The restoration, according to the seller, was done to factory original standards, ensuring that everything from the upholstery to the trim reflects what would have rolled off the assembly line in late 1941. While specifics of the restoration aren't fully detailed in the listing, a proper restoration of a 42 Ford would typically include re-upholstering with correct mohair or broadcloth materials, re-chroming of trim and bumpers, mechanical overhauls, including brakes, suspension, fuel, and cooling systems, rebuilt or refreshed flathead V8 engine, period-correct paint codes and finishes. The seller also mentions that it runs and drives like original, reinforcing the idea that this car is not just a museum piece, but a functional classic that can be enjoyed on the road or proudly displayed at shows. Why the 1942 Ford is so desirable. A few reasons this car stands out in the collector community. Wartime rarity. With production limited to just a few months, and most 1942 cars worn out or scrapped during the war, survivors are very rare. Transitional design. The 1942 models reflect the last of the true pre-war American design cues with hints of post-war styling. Historical significance. These vehicles mark the end of civilian car production before the U.S. focused its manufacturing efforts entirely on World War II. When you combine that rarity with family-owned history, a fresh restoration, and a price under $25,000, you're looking at a vehicle that checks all the boxes for serious enthusiasts and casual admirers alike. Specifications at a glance. Note, while not detailed in the ad, Typical specs for the 1942 Ford Super Deluxe include the following. Engine, 221 cubic inch, flathead V8. Horsepower, 90 horsepower at 3,800 RPM. Transmission, 3-speed column shift manual. Brakes, hydraulic drum brakes. Top speed, around 80 miles per hour, period correct. Curb weight, approximately 3,150 pounds. Wheelbase, 114 inches. These specs made the 1942 Ford one of the most advanced family sedans of its time, blending decent power, comfortable seating, and attractive design into an all-American package. Asking price and value. At $24,900, this 1942 Ford Tudor Super Deluxe sits comfortably in the range of restored examples, especially considering the originality, recent restoration, and unique family ownership. With classic car values stable and even increasing for rare pre-war American cars, this Ford offers not only aesthetic and nostalgic appeal, but also sound investment potential. If you're looking for a classic that you won't see at every car show and one that comes with its own living story, this is it. Final thoughts. This 1942 Ford Tudor Super Deluxe is more than just an old car. It's an heirloom, a wartime survivor, and a tribute to an era when American craftsmanship met enduring family values. Restored to original glory and driven only 60,000 miles, it's a tangible connection to a time long past, now ready to be enjoyed by a new steward. Whether you're a collector of rare Fords, a fan of pre-war Americana, or simply someone who values the soul and history that come with a family-owned classic, this Super Deluxe deserves a place in your garage, in your heart. Interested parties should reach out via personal message, serious inquiries only. Location, Grand Forks, North Dakota. Location is approximate. 1958 Ford Thunderbird, a second-generation icon ready for the road. For enthusiasts of classic American automobiles, the 1958 Ford Thunderbird marks a pivotal moment in the evolution of Detroit muscle and style. Offered here is a well-preserved two-door rear-wheel drive hardtop, boasting 97,385 miles and currently listed for $8,950 in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. With a clean title, no major damage, and numerous mechanical upgrades, this 58 T-Bird is more than just a collectible. It's a road-ready icon waiting for its next chapter. A new direction for the Thunderbird. The 1958 model year was a landmark for Ford's Thunderbird. After its successful debut in 1955 as a two-seat sports car designed to rival the Chevrolet Corvette, Ford took a bold step in '58 by reimagining the Thunderbird as a luxurious four-seat personal coupe. This transition gave birth to the second-generation Square Bird, 1958 to 1960, which shifted the car's identity from sporty roadster to upscale boulevard cruiser. Critics and purists debated the move at the time, but buyers embraced the change. The 1958 Thunderbird was longer, wider, and more refined than its predecessor. It brought powerful V8 performance together with a comfortable ride, refined styling, and ample interior room, making a hit with buyers and a trendsetter for the new class of personal luxury cars that would become a staple of the American auto industry. Classic performance with upgraded heart. This specific Thunderbird is powered by the 5.7-liter, 352 cubic inch V8, the first year this FE series engine was used in Ford vehicles. Factory rated at 300 horsepower at 4,600 RPM and 395 lb-ft of torque at 2,800 RPM, the 352 CID delivered smooth but commanding acceleration, thanks in part to its high 10.2-to-1 compression ratio and hydraulic valve lifters. The engine is paired with a 3-speed automatic transmission, and this particular example has had the transmission recently rebuilt, ensuring crisp shifts and reliable performance. Complementing the drivetrain is a new 4-barrel carburetor and modern DI distributor, both of which improve fuel delivery and ignition timing for better drivability and power consistency, especially important for a vintage car. These thoughtful upgrades add to the vehicle's appeal for anyone seeking a balance between originality and modern reliability. Timeless design and dimensions. One glance at the 1958 Thunderbird, and it's easy to see why this model is a standout in automotive design history. With its low, wide stance, square-jawed front end, and distinctive rear tail fins, the car exudes confidence and mid-century American flair. This example was an off-white exterior, complemented by a striking red interior, a classic combination that never goes out of style. The exterior maintains much of the original Thunderbird charm, including signature chrome trim and dual headlamps that were new for the '58 redesign. Key dimensions for the 1958 T-Bird include wheelbase, 113.0 inches, overall length, 205.3 inches, width, 76.9 inches, height, hardtop 52.5 inches, front tread, 60.0 inches. Rear tread, 57.0 inches. Tires, 8.00 by 14 4-ply tubeless. These specs translate into a vehicle that rides with presence and confidence, offering both visual impact and road comfort. Despite being nearly 17 feet long, the Thunderbird was engineered for ease of handling and remains enjoyable to cruise even decades later. Inside the Red Lounge, open the door, and you're welcomed into a bold red interior, featuring sweeping dashboard lines, deep cushioned bench seating, and iconic round gauges nestled in chrome bezels. The '58 Thunderbird's cabin was a futuristic place for its time and still impresses with its artful blend of luxury and space-age flair. While exact interior details aren't listed in this ad, most Thunderbirds of the era came equipped with features like power steering, power brakes, and optional power windows, giving the car an upscale feel compared to many contemporaries. The cockpit-style dash layout places all controls within easy reach, and the wide bench seats ensure passengers up front and in the back enjoy a roomy, comfortable ride. Preserved and ready for the road. With just under 100,000 miles on the odometer, TMU, true mileage unknown, this Thunderbird has seen use but has clearly been maintained. The recent mechanical work, carburetor, distributor, and rebuilt transmission addresses the most common vintage car pain points, suggesting that the vehicle is ready to drive and enjoy immediately. Even better, the car carries a clean title, and the seller notes that it has no significant damage or mechanical issues, a rarity in the world of 60-plus-year-old cars. Whether you're a collector looking for a solid second-gen T-Bird to add to your garage, or a weekend cruiser in search of vintage vibes with dependable power, this Ford fits the bill. Investment potential and market value. The second-generation Thunderbird continues to rise in popularity, especially well-preserved examples with strong mechanicals and clean bodywork. While convertibles often command a premium, hardtops like this offer all the style at a more approachable price. At $8,950, this T-Bird is attractively priced, particularly given the recent work and clean condition. With classic car values generally holding strong and often appreciating, this Thunderbird could be a smart buy for someone who wants a drivable classic with room to grow in value, especially with continued care and preservation. Final thoughts: a piece of Americana. The 1958 Ford Thunderbird represents more than just a car. It embodies the spirit of an era. With jet-age styling, luxurious features, and burly V8 power, the Thunderbird stood at the crossroads of design and performance in post-war America. This particular example, offered at an affordable price with meaningful upgrades and a clean title, makes for a compelling entry point into classic car ownership. Whether you're drawn by nostalgia, the joy of weekend cruising, or the investment potential, this Thunderbird delivers on every front. Located in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and priced at just $8,950, it's a car that deserves to be seen, driven, and appreciated.